Actually, I think what I could explain is the knowledge I had at W2 and at Dublin II, which we are into now, Dublin III, which changed this year to become Dublin III, and before that was Dublin II. So, what is it Dublin II or Dublin III? Where did they come from? What did they create it? And what it meaning? So I think, like to me, the answer is like people like me who've been in this situation. That's the Dublin III right now. That's the people who. That is the meaning behind it. So in this world we live in, we have like things like when we need to locked places. In this whole world we live in, they create okay. Someone do the crimes, need to go to prison, so locked in there. Someone like had a sick or something like that, need to go to hospital to get a medicine. So someone come up to apply asylum in Europe, then he needs somewhere to locked. So it doesn't need a crimes, but you need a solution. So they created a solution, and Dublin is that prison where you can lock it. So that's what Dublin created for. So like in the countries of European Union, they made a law. They said, okay, we make it. Dublin before they used to share like criminal things, something like this before the refugees get into the situation of Dublin. So it was the crime things, countries change it. When someone stole something from this country, they used to deport it back to each other, like German person did something, goes to Henshaw to Sweden, they used to bring it back, and used to do it that way. So when the European Union comes up, and the countries join together, and the refugees comes up, there is like places, when there is a Europe, people come over to, like, people coming over somewhere here, or here, or here, or here, or here, to go to, like, European countries. And the countries who their economic is good, who can afford to give people something, is the Western countries, most of them. Like Germany, England, Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, this kind of countries who can offer the people for a life, to live in, to educate them, to give them a life. So there is a countries living here, like Italy, like Hungary, like Greece, like Malta. So people when they come over to Europe, they have to cross these places. Because they cannot fly. Like 199 people comes up with a food, one comes up with a flight from somewhere to go to lack or connection or something like this. So they have to cross these countries. Then they come up with an idea. And all the people when they come over here, they stay for like little time, and then they pass to go to these countries who can give them a life, accommodation, and build a life over there. Then they said, okay, we need to come up something to block these people, because we cannot take them back to straight to, like some countries like Somalia, they don't take people back to Somalia because they're not allowed to do it because of the United Nations is forbidden. Like Syria, like Iraq used to be like this, and too many countries like this. They say, okay, these countries, these people, we cannot deport them to their countries. Then what should we do with it? Then we need to make it something to lock them in these countries. And that is a Dublin. That Dublin comes out. So they said, okay, if someone comes over here, this country, and apply asylum, he has to stay there, whatever he had, and just live there. It's good or not good, we don't give a shit, and we don't care. He has to live there. So there's the other advantage thing. These countries in here, they have been using it. Because thousands of people come over like a year for these countries, and all of them they cross the border to come over there. So they said, okay, we cannot give them anything. When they come over there, they can stay in our country for a while. We release them to the streets. We give them like IDs. Some countries doesn't give it to them IDs at all. Like Greece, they don't give them any ID to travel or to do anything. So they just leave them on the streets. And when they move out to these countries take them back there. So there is a rules in the Dublin. So when you come over to these countries, they will give you humanitarian thing, or without papers, or Geneva 1951. Three of them. So if you have this one right now, like some countries without papers, they can't deport you back. But at the same time, you have 6 months in like period time. The day this country said bring him back, starting from the 6 months. And if they don't take you in that, from that day between 6 months, then you're allowed to stay in here, and your asylum continues from there. The second one, the humanitarian, it used to be the Dublin II, like they used to be 6 months, but now they changed it, Dublin III. They said Geneva used to be whatever you have in Geneva from this kind of a countries, you stay 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, whatever you stay in a country, the day they want, they can take you back to these countries anytime they need it. So it doesn't work out 6 months with them. But now they created, because there's a lot of people, these countries stop giving to the people like Geneva 1951, so they start giving to them humanitarian. So all the people who get humanitarian comes over to these countries. All they have to do is go to the hospital for 6 months, or go to the charter school for 6 months, then everything's gone, you belong to the country, you get the papers, and then they say, oh, this is too much. They come up with another solution, so we need to change it. That's why they created a Dublin III for these people, to bring them back, to join the Geneva 1951. So they changed it 6 months also now. So that is how it works. So for me coming over from here, like all the way back here, which I didn't have any knowledge, where am I going, what's in there, and I didn't know I'm going to Dublin. I just knew I'm going to the countries, which is good, which is peace, which I can start a life, which I can do something for myself. But I didn't know I was going to Dublin or something like this, created in there. So I traveled from there, which I didn't get by myself. Like I had a sister who lives in Canada all the way back from there, and she put things together, which Somali people, when you're young, you don't know anything about your future, because you don't have a future, because we don't have a government for 22 years. We never had a policy, we never had a law, we never grew up anything out of it. So it was like nothing, you know, you your own policy, you your own thing, everything is to you. So when you become like 15 or 16 or something, this kind of ages, you need to choose a route, like to go, which route for yourself. So you choose to be like with a warlords or something, get your gun, whatever you have it. You just go to the street and block some streets and say people, you know, you need to pay money, otherwise you won't cross and get your gun. Or you go to the pirates, or go to the sea, kidnap some boats, get whatever you want to get, something like this. So that's the only opportunities in the country. But if you had it, like some luck or some help from outside or something like this, then in this kind of age, if you get out of the country, then you have a chance to go somewhere which is better, like wherever it is, Africa or Asia or some good place where you can live and start your life, then do you have the opportunity to go on from there, to build your life, because you're still young, you still have time. And if you get out of the country, the other countries doesn't bring people back in there. It's forbidden. So I had a sister who lives in here, and she organized everything. And one day, this guy comes up, and he said, he come up to my mom, and he said, you know, I come from the sister of your son, from the father's side, and she's in there, and she paid me money, and I want to bring your son to the good place. And she talked to him, but he didn't talk to me, and she asked him all the questions, what is he going to get, how is he going to be, and everything he put it was a beautiful thing in there, beautiful picture. And he's going to be, long as it takes 3 years, he's going to be with you, with a better life. And he can do something for you, just like, oh, take it, do whatever you want to do. So we took a flight from here, crossed by Dubai, then we come over to the border to Ukraine, which is outside of European Union. So when we get there, he said, we are a good country, and he introduced me to 2 young Somali boys, and he said, you go on with these boys, and they will show you the way, and I will come over. So, oh, nice. Then I went through with the boys, and they took me to a small house, which is there was like also 7 people from Pakistan or something like this was locked in, like small room, and it's just 3 of them goes to sleep. It was really crazy, but it was a cool experience to find out. So we went to there, and then I said, "Where's the guy?" They said, "He's gone. He's not gonna come back. So we need to find out a way to get out of here." Okay, but he said this country is good. They said no, it's the worst. Next day we went to the like UN thing, and they'll give you the paper, which is like ID to travel in the city. And on a Wednesdays they will give you the 1 bottle of oil, 2 kilos of sugar, 1 kilo of flour. That's it. That's all you got. So you got this thing. What are you gonna do with it? You can't even. You don't have somewhere to cook. You don't have the things. You don't have the sauce. You don't have the. You need to like the whole package to come over. And this kilos is like nothing, but it's worse than anything. So we stayed there for a while. They found a solution to take us out of the country. So they found this Ukrainian guy who get paid, and he said, "Oh, I will take you to the next country, which is European Union, which is one of the greatest, and they call it Hungary." So, oh, nice one. And then what's gonna happen? Is it gonna be like this? No. Then it's gonna be the end. Everything is gonna be beautiful. We said, "Okay, nice one. We're gonna take that one." And we had a little money in our pockets to save it to pay. So we paid the money. He took us by car, bring us to the border of Hungary. So he put us in a border, and in Ukraine to Hungary, they had a self-block. So that's the border. They blocked it with something, with some section, something like this.
Like the street.
Yeah, they blocked it. They built it like long wall thing with the silks and all this kind of thing. So he said, "Okay, here we are. We are Ukrainians. We cannot cross it here." You know, like it was like midnight. But you cross this. You walk like 3 hours or something like this, and your flight will be house. And that house you go there, and there is a guy waiting for you by car. Oh, nice one. Then he hold it, he open it, we jump. When we jump, he ran away. And then we said, "Okay, what's gonna happen?" But there's one thing he said, whatever happens, it's trade. That's where you go. And that way is the place you go into. So we went to there, 3 hours. We traveled, and then we found a house. Oh, this is the house, it's the right side. So we come up to the house. We knocked at the door. And when we knocked at the door, there was like a little baby crying. Like, small baby crying in the house. And I was like, wow, this is totally strange. And this woman opened the door, had a baby, and she's talking to the baby just like to be quiet, it's okay, and she said, "Come and sit." So we get inside, and she took the phone. When she took the phone, we totally understand this is not what we expected, and this is totally different. So if she take the phone and phone the police, and they come over, they will take you back to Ukraine, and you will go to a prison underground for like 1 year or 2 years. Underground, and you eat only bread there and the water. That's what they give it to you. And nobody knows these places. And there was even people who come out like after 5 years, which is sick and be in the hospitals, or just some of them get crazy and struggle a lot. So we knew if we go back, it would be worse than anything to go to hand on the border of Ukraine police or something like this. So we travel. We said, "Okay, we ran away." We said, thank you. We don't even speak English. One of us, like, he speaks a little bit, but we know thank you and all this kind of a few words. So we ran away, and we said, "Okay," he said this way, so we walk that way. In the daytime, what we do is we go under the trees. We sleep under the trees. In the nighttime, we start walking. Whole night we be just walking. When it comes in the morning, we had a bread and the water we can take from the streets because it's raining everywhere. So we don't need to take the water, we just take a bread. So that's when I find out there was a helicopter flying on top. And we were just lying down under the trees. And one of us said, "Oh, there's a helicopter watches the borders or something like this. They check people across or something like this." And we said, "What should we do? Should we run?" Like everyone comes up with an idea. And one said, "Oh, I've watched a movie for Rambo, this guy or something like this." Once when he was in Vietnam, he took a trees and put top on him. So let's take a trees and put top on us. So we cut a trees, we put on it under it, and it was so cool. We survived it for it. It works out. So actually we traveled there for 3 nights, and then one of us get sick, and he couldn't travel